In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited mind sharp and keen, with a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. In the ring we stand tall, words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave, every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited minds sharp and keen, with a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Heard. Will be heard. Will be heard.
Spartans! What is your profession?
What is going on, everybody? We're back at another stream, another live. You know where you're at. You're at Spartan Institute Network. I am your host, the Spartan, aka Peter, aka the greatest thing ever happened to you. I can't do the show by myself, but let me get my boy out here. He's a little shy camera tonight. He's a little scared. So let's get a little Groot out here.
Bear paw. Bear paw.
David,
It is bear paw. Ain't no good up in here.
listen. I'm a Spartan. You're baby Groot. We talked
Here's the
about.
problem. You are Spartan from Greece. I'm from Africa. We don't have Greek in Africa. Either we are gorillas, or we are lion,
You see,
or
if I
we are
call you a
rhino.
gorilla, hang on, time out here. Because if I call you a gorilla or monkey or anything like that, that would sound very racist, and I'm not racist, and you know
I
that.
know. I prefer rhino. That's what I call bear paw. Because I got a big ass hand. Sometimes I want to see how much meat I can take off a certain face.
Let's not go there tonight.
I know. I want to say bear paw. Group don't
We already
sound like
talked
that.
about that shit today.
I know I was not in a good mood today. I was really I just I don't know. I miss MMA where I can just beat up people and enjoy inflicting pain.
I remember
It's
when
like
you just beat up people and get away with it back in high school. You get suspended. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I like therapy to me. But I'm seeing so much stupidity in today's world. I'm like, I need to get out of there before I hurt somebody. Literally, not in the mood for stupid people. Seriously. Well, I like the name Bear Paw because sometimes the bear could be quiet and chill, or the bear could be one too.
Oh, trust me, brother. I know. I know how bad it can get. Anyway, Brody, I want to ask you a question.
Shoot,
Have you gone the distance lately?
lately, have I gone the distance? No, I have not done that in a while. Probably called in my 20s. That was the thing I was doing to my body, to myself, going the distance.
I'm not.
But
Oh, I'm not only talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally.
mentally, going the distance. No, we going the distance. Not take a vacation over 27
Hang on.
years.
Before you say that, let me cut you off one more time. I'm sorry, David. I apologize. So, have you heard of the song "Going the Distance" from Hercules, the cartoon movie?
Yeah, I heard that theme song and everything, but I wouldn't really sing the song in a way. I was like,
That
going the
song means a
distance.
lot to me personally
Okay.
because sometimes I don't know where I belong for years and years, and still to this day. And I'm still trying to find where I belong. That's why I thought talking about this subject is a very good thing because do you know where you belong, David?
That's a very logical question to ask me because during different stages of my life, I think I'm gonna have an idea where I'm supposed to be. But there will be a situation that will pop up that will make you question your decision. And you have to step back and evaluate what direction are you taking, what path are you
Hmm.
taking, what turn you need to take. That is why I said when you say go to Disney mentally, I'll look at it like this way. I've been taking vacation over 27 years and not giving yourself a break. You're constantly thinking, you're constantly trying to find a solution. Now, when you have a good support system, it seems easy. But when you don't have a support system that backing you all those years, it's like going the distance is not even a thing anymore. You're just on survival mode until you can go completely out of survival mode. Until then, you'll be stuck in that mode for a year to come. Some people from different ethnic groups, they don't really call it go the distance. It's more like when my body lasts,
Hmm.
when my body gonna break if I keep pushing it. Will I break
How far are you gonna
mentally?
push up? That's a question too.
I'm saying. Mentally, Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, if I'm pushing beyond my limit, if I'm hurting myself mentally, physically, emotionally. Remember, I told you I did a show about this thing called burnout, and not realize it's a real medical wake up for men. 'Cause a lot of men in the United States have gone past the limit of burnout to the point where they're hurting themselves, and sometimes they end up in the hospital. It was a serious issue, real serious. And we have people who came up from the panel from different walk of life. And I say sometimes it's hard not to burn out because there's too much level of responsibility on your shoulder. You
Hmm.
have no choice but to keep pushing. The question is when you give yourself a break. So when I say different ethnic groups, when I call it going the distance, more like when I'm going to reach my breaking point, when I'm going to get a break and let this body heal mentally, physically, emotionally. When I'm going to suffer the backlash when I get older. That's the actual question from different ethnic groups who are not based from here. Because they are aware what their body is telling them. And they train themselves just to numb it out. But in their mind, each and every day, as I get older, will my body do me dirty? Would I get a backlash? My body crumble? Will something happen to me whereby I want to take care of me afterwards? Those are the kind of thoughts that after we had a few female nurses who came on my panel on that show a couple of years back, and they mentioned there are people who show up in the hospital whereby they got to take IV because they don't get themselves rest. I was like, really? Yeah, these people sometimes they only get like 4 to 3 hours of sleep. What make you think that you're Superman? You're destroying your body.
Hmm.
And we get it because if you come in an environment whereby you are taught man cannot quit, man cannot cry, man cannot whine and complain, you gotta keep pushing. But you'll get to the point whereby you start to notice, you start to see that crack. This way I'm saying a path going the distance now.
So I want to talk about one thing you bring it up too. You said you were in survivor mode for a while, correct, David?
I'm here.
I asked you a question.
Am I in survival mode now?
You said you were in survivor mode for the longest time, right?
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was talking to one of my old directors. Was it 2 3 years ago before he retired?
Hmm.
The old fuck. Um, and as we're talking, and we're talking about overtime and all that stuff. Take care of your family. He goes, you know what you're in? He goes to me, you're in survival mode. I'm like, huh? Survival mode? I don't feel like I'm in survival mode. I can breathe pretty well. I went to him. He goes, no, not like that. He goes, you're in survival mode because you just know to work, and work. That's survival mode. You don't realize it. That's your self defense mechanism. Simple, like mine, for years and years. And if I'm getting to the old age I am, and we joke around, we're gonna put him in memory care, and over there, we're gonna put him on the beds, and his bed reserved for him when he comes back in. And I looked at him like, this guy's right. And then I started thinking, where do I really belong in this world? Where's my purpose? What is your purpose, Grandpa David?
Good question. That is something that a lot of guys who have been put through that right up past it had to ask themselves almost every month, every week, every year, what is my purpose? What have I accomplished? You all know being the main purpose is being a father, being a husband, being a leader of your own community, being a leader of your household. That is obvious. But when it comes to career path or what you're supposed to lay down for your family, you start to question yourself, what purpose do I have in this today's society? What must I do? What must I accomplish? What must I must achieve? That become a ongoing question that I'm not gonna lie. When you're in an environment whereby you're not able to talk to an elder who could be your mentor or your moral compass or someone who can keep you in check so you don't go to the left or to the right and you by yourself, it get a little more frustrating when you don't have a community that you can go to and be like, okay, I need help in this, and they can help you out.
And that is my point too, because like, let me ask you a question: who has your back, David, besides me? And be honest.
Before you, there was nobody, and there was nobody for many years. Like I said, I can admit I was a very number one loner. Reason why, when you grew up in a life whereby you've been betrayed multiple times, you've been backed up multiple times, you've been lied on multiple times, you have been done dirty multiple times, people have disappointed you multiple times. You have trained yourself to a level of you said it to yourself. If I want something to be done right, I will have to do it myself. And even though they were popped out there, even on the NTV real where one young guy was saying the same thing I was saying, because he's always in survival mode, but people brush it off now realize that is a warning sign. Because now all of a sudden they are more concerned about men's mental health. But you don't realize we've been down this road for too long. Because the society that you created here on the Western world called the United States of America, there's no option for man to get a breather or take a break. You gotta keep on moving, you gotta keep on producing, you gotta keep on providing, you gotta keep on moving. There's no excuse. Then you have a bunch of sorry ass females who are all type of excuse and privileges. If they don't want to continue going on, they can take a break and you'll feel sorry for the dumbass. Or let the guy want to take a break or you're weak. So what do you think happens?
Tell me.
Because hearing about men who break down, they couldn't take it no more. They have put themselves beyond their mental limit, their physical capacity, to the point where they're falling sick. They end up in hospital. They gotta get IV. Shout out to them. It got to a point where some people had to get into alcoholism, drinking, or smoking so much, or doing drugs just to numb the pain or just to flush it out. What do you think is happening? If you're coming from a family whereby they put too much pressure on your children. You put to age your class, but they don't accept failures. They're coming
Hmm.
from the Japanese, from the Chinese, as well as some South Korean. They have that same mental culture whereby failure is not an option. There's no place for second place. You got to be number one. If you're not number one, you failing. Imagine that type of pressure put on male children in your type of household. There is a cultural phenomenon. People from other culture whereby honor, pride, and integrity is taken to another level.
Hmm.
Hello, Mariana, and that is something that you don't hear among Black American people because it does not flow on them. They don't go through what other culture have to go through because of legacy, their last name. They have to move the next generation. They have to represent the family name. That can represent the heritage. That represent those things. It got to a level whereby some parents don't realize you're putting way too much pressure on your kid and you're breaking them. Imagine in Japan, there was actually a force that's meant for such things, and it's legal because they know it's been there in that culture for ages. But there are people who cannot take the pressure anymore, go to that particular force and unalive themselves. Even when I heard that, it that it's legitimately real. I found out it was crazy until Logan Paul went there and tried to record it, and he was banned from Japan for that. That is a thing. You know what I say? American people got it easy because some people coming from different part of the world, whereby life is not easy for them. Their parent is putting a 18 truckload of responsibility and pressure on them. They got to produce. If they don't produce, they're a failure. If they don't produce, they get disowned.
And that is the point. And like, if you don't put up, put out, in a way. And like, you bust your fucking ass, and then what? You be treated like shit.
This is even worse. If you're the firstborn and you're not producing what you're supposed to produce, the secondborn can take your seat, and that will hurt your ego and your pride. If the secondborn can't do it, the thirdborn will. It's like you see that kind of mindset. A lot of people in you never you have to go through that type of mindset where you're at the head of the family. Like, let's be real, WWE, Roman Reigns, the Samoan family, they have that culture within themselves.
Thank you for bringing that up. I want to bring something up. So, you know my backstory: my dad getting hurt and my mom getting
Uh-huh,
cancer. So,
uh-huh,
me, I knew eventually at some point I will become the head of my family.
uh-huh,
All right, I knew that was going to happen. That's in most Greeks' household. All right,
uh-huh,
but I thought I'll have a wife. I will have some, a couple of rugrats running around,
uh-huh,
a couple of dogs, maybe a dragon in the backyard.
uh-huh,
An armory downstairs. Who knows what I had?
uh-huh.
Didn't happen. I planned out. I thought by now my original plan, when I was young, is have kids young, get married young, fuck a lot. Those are my three plans. Sounds pretty good plan.
I had to do this because that's a lot of guy mindset. But when you have that pressure on your neck, this is why I say it's even scary when you have those type of.
I'm going to that. Hang on a second. I'm getting to that
But
point. So I was put a lot of pressure on me at a very young age to start taking over the family. My parents didn't realize they were doing that to me at a young age. You know, doing this. Like my dad told me when my dad called, asked me to do something, I had to do it right there on the spot. So when I got older and I started working a full time job and making more money than him, I said, "Yo, not this doesn't work like that anymore, dude." The amount of the chemistry in the house kind of switched, and I became the house out. I hit a house out me realizing it because he was making 40,000, and I was making already it's 50 to 60,000 in high school. So when my dad got hurt, I knew I was responsible for the house, but I was only really responsible for my bills, not the rent, not the
mhm,
mortgage, not the rent, not the electric,
mhm,
not the
mhm,
oil, not the groceries. I don't think worry about
mhm,
is my car payment, my credit cards,
mhm,
and whatever I want to spend shit on. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And then when my dad got hurt, literally overnight, just like that. Now I'm head of the house. I'm like, when you say the word slap you across the face, let me phrase it, not slap me across the face, it bit slapped me so fucking hard, I can taste the sperm coming out of my mouth still.
Hmm.
That's extreme.
I agree with you on that.
Hmm.
The good thing for you is just that it wasn't in an area whereby one, not only you had your mother and father, you had your uncle, your auntie, and their family, and someone had to be the head of the family name, and different branch of the family had to compete for the head, and you got thrown under the bus. Say this is your responsibility. I feel sorry for those people who had to be the family head, and you're dealing with so much excess responsibility to lead that next family to the next generation. And I'm like, dude, that's more common among Indian, among Chinese, among Japanese, among South Korean, I believe. When you have those big compound families whereby every member close by, they're living no one's living far apart from each other. You have your mom, your pop, Next door, your uncle, your aunt. The other time, your next door is your uncle, aunt. The other time is your first. And they have when they have family, everybody to come and figure out is it a family business? Oh, God forbid, that a family business that connects to all these families. And gonna figure who be the head. They had that in my countries too as well. Don't get me wrong. When the father established a huge business, and many of the family members are working in that business, so they competed to be the next head. Tell me how that pressure feel like, and yet keep the business within the family. Don't lose this business. This is our legacy. How many idiotic families in the United States sold their family heritage for money? Like Ford. Like you look at Ford, GNC, all the big automaker companies. They don't need to be within the family until they sold it. Ford are the only one left that stuck within the family. Every other
What
autom-
Mariana's saying to us right now. Sometimes life could sometimes life could throw a curveball and you don't see that coming.
Mhm.
For number one, she's right, and number two, Mariana, get your ass up here already. Um,
And that is true because that's why I'm to look. I said, look at Ford. Ford is the only automaker company that is still within the family. Every other
I thought they're public. No, they're not family owned anymore. I thought.
recently,
I'm not sure. I thought that's what I heard last.
I'll Google it right now because like I remember they were the last one standing. Is Ford still a family business?
Yeah, but that Mariana had a good point. And like, you don't know what life can throw at you. Like, listen, if I had a fight, to be the head of the house, take it. I wouldn't even bother. Like, yeah, I put my shirt on. Ching. I'm like, you won. See ya.
Yes,
You don't
it's
understand how
correct.
much pressure it gets onto you.
Update. Yes, Ford is still considered a family business, but even though it's publicly traded, the Ford family
Okay.
retains significant control through a special class of stock that grants them 40% of voting power. There are a lot of there's a lot of family business that does that, whereby they go publicly, but they own a majority share of the company,
Look the McBain family, for example.
and until they sold it.
Yeah. All right, let's play the first video tonight. All right, you ready?
Go ahead.
My God, I can fight all day. I can fight all day long. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you're exactly jacked up. You have nothing left to give and give more. My God, I can fight all day.
That person, if I remember correctly, he's a former ex-military person.
He ex-military. He's like one of the most fastest runner in the world. Also, this guy
Mhm.
he's insane.
No, the reason why he is insane, and there's a reason why, because first and foremost, I got cousin in the military, and I've been told there's some people personality you can tell the moment they join the military, they'll become broken. They're not going to be normal. When they're there longer and they come out, it's as if they can never turn that off. I spoke to Manjor about it, and he told me, yeah, Manjor told me about it in detail. There's the thing about the military, it done something to certain people whereby in and out, they feel like they can never remove that survival mode out of there. They'll always gotta be prepared. They'll always be in their P's and Q's. They're constantly working, perfecting themselves to the point whereby they've broken the limit barrier for a normal human being, and you can't call a human being no more. That same thing you and I both know about martial art. Martial art does that same exact thing. If you have learned martial arts from a very young age, okay, martial art, not MMA. MMA is mixed martial art with a bunch of different styles, but there's
Mhm.
not a lot of discipline in it. So I don't know why people thinking MMA is better than martial arts, because that means you don't know your homework. So do your homework on that. When you started martial at a very young age and you continue partake and practice the style and the art, you end up going to multiple levels whereby you're no longer considered a regular human being person. You cannot consider yourself just like everybody else.
Mhm.
It's not possible. It's never gonna be possible. Anyone have been in the fighting sport, either you in boxing, you in wrestling, whatever, and you constantly training, you will know within yourself when you pass that threshold. Whereby you pass being a regular human being and you just gone to the next category, which actually is a weapon. You're automatically a weapon. You're not a human anymore. For the thing that you've been constantly, you constantly perfect and constantly train, is not considered normal anymore. That's the thing. So that apply to every dynamic in life whereby when you put to a level of pressure and you constantly have to perfect it, you constantly have to compete, you constantly have to, that guy was doing that to himself. But the real at the time went and trained with this imagine at the time he's an MMA fighter, multi-time champion, right? He worked with the guy for almost a whole day and the guy was vomiting. He said that that guy is a beast, that guy is a monster. I thought well he was telling the honor to I thought I got it. That I work out with this guy, and I wonder this guy like in what in his 50 and his 60, and he act like it's just nothing. He pushing it, and there's a reason why because there's a level of discipline. You and I both understand the word discipline. Discipline is a word that many people could never recognize or respect. When you have to be disciplined, it requires a level of dedication that past the normal level. It puts you in the mindset of straight and now. You have to stick to a code of ethics, a code of conduct. That's what discipline does. And that man is, when I say he's disciplined, he's the true definition of being disciplined.
Okay, David. So we know most artists learn discipline from
Not
their
as much, not just that, military too, because
no.
with
Yeah. I'm talking about martial arts for now because that's what me and you can relate.
mhm.
But where did you learn your hard work?
I got it from my uncle in Nigeria. Spending 7 years in Nigeria, I watched my uncle was a journalist. And this man had not only being consistent, he never stopped. He was a journalist in the daytime, Monday through Friday. He worked in the church during the week, even on Sunday. Early Sunday morning around 6 a.m. in the morning, even though they cleaned the church on Saturday, him and the usher board would make sure to do many ducks and make sure everything prepared for the church start at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
So him and the team go there at 6 o'clock in the morning, dusting all the cheese, dust everything, doing the sound check, making everything done already. By the time they get out around 7, they come home, take a shower, get themselves ready, and they have to be the first one in the church before the church starts service. They gotta make sure and for people to their seats. So watching that man did that, I learned that from him. The level of dedication, the level of discipline. That's what I'm not with. So I'm from here, anybody in the US, maybe a lot of people feel tough. So that's how I got my discipline. I watched this man where he had to get somewhere and he didn't have a car. This man will power walk to the bus. Everything he does, there's no waste of moment. There's no, you know how you have people walking through the like they're dragging themselves. When he gets somewhere, he power walk. He don't like to waste time. He move, he keep his body moving. That's why when they have a level of strength, I mean, you don't see that anymore. I'm gonna ask for the link. That's the link.
Mariana, I texted to you.
But just when I'm telling you that God is something now, thing I'm saying, even after him, when I've been voting for the same thing too, you don't have janitors. No, no. You don't have janitors who come and clean the school, clean the bathroom, clean the, no, that's student job. We have no lawnmower, we have cutlass. You gotta learn how to use the cutlass to cut the grass. I learned that at a young age. We help unload, load the truck to the stuff and the motor stuff. Ultimately, I love my work ethic and my community and for my high school. I get it.
So my question to you now, David. Let me get my questions up here. So we kind of talked about different stuff, like work ethic. Like now,
Mhm.
let's go back to the original question. What does going the distance means to you personally?
Going the distance to me means there's no barrier. It's never ending. You're not allowed to quit. You're not allowed to give up. But it's
Mhm.
not an option. So when I say I pass going the distance, more like if my body can take it. Like you coming from you spend some year in a country whereby the word vacation is not normal. So you watch people who don't have the luxury to take vacation. They're constantly working to survive. And you come back to the United States and you see people, oh, I need a vacation. I'm stressed out. Oh, I need to take a 2 week vacation. Oh, I need to take a 1 month vacation. But out in another environment whereby that is not even available for a lot of people.
That's not even an option in my book.
Pretty much.
Like,
So
like
you
when I'm trying to take like at least 4 days to see my best friend Mike, my management team goes, "Oh, we lost your PTO form. We can't give it to you."
what?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Believe it or not, they don't want to give you time off.
They're not against the law.
Yeah, but how you can prove it?
So you tell me all the work hours that you work over the time at that job, it doesn't build up to PTO?
Oh yeah.
No, you can prove it. The problem is you can prove it. They're cheating the system and they're cheating the book. But first and foremost, if you've been working for an X amount of time, it will be documented, number one. And there will be a conversion system in place based on how many hours you work to how many hours you are entitled for your PTO. If that is not put aside for you to utilize to use, and they claim that you went out of PTO, but you never got a chance to use it, that is by law a technical aspect of a lawsuit.
So,
Which means that
we get
company,
into technical like
the
that.
company can be sued and also
Oh
be
yeah,
fined.
absolutely. I'm not denying that one bit. But the problem is that you don't get PTO to after a year you've been employed with us. It's a lot of scammy shit. Livewell is the
So,
most scammiest company that I ever seen in my life.
so they're telling you got to be in the company for X amount of time before you get PTO, and that what they're saying.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, you know, it's a Commonwealth. We're under the United States. We're under the United States of America. And I believe PTO is part of the federal law, and all
Oh no,
states.
I'm gonna handle that tomorrow. Don't worry. They're gonna have two choices tomorrow. You're gonna get my PTO on paper tomorrow, or I'm walking out.
And that's the thing because are they trying to say you have no PTO?
I don't really give a shit about PTO, bro, because I make so much overtime in there.
And here's the problem:
Balance my hours out.
it can end up
I
being
really
a more.
don't have. If it
I
doesn't,
know.
it's fine. What some big companies you have to wait a whole year. That's bullshit in my eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing: as long as you're getting the pay stub and show how many hours you work.
You're funny. Pay stubs. Yeah, I have to request from HR to get one.
So when they pay you, you don't get like an email showing your pay stub how many hours you.
Nope, I have to request it from HR. And they are refusing to give me HR's information because I want to file a complaint against my director and they don't want to give it to me.
This could be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because they're breaking multiple laws.
Yeah, I know. But
That's
it's
a lot of
Commonwealth again.
that's a lot of labor law to break.
Oh, they're bringing out, dude. I don't get a break. I work a 15-hour shift, and I'm supposed to get 2 15s in 1/2 hour. I don't even get a 5. I can't even go to the bathroom 5 minutes. I have my phone going off.
So you telling me they put you into modern day slavery?
Pretty much.
I'm sorry. They can't have a person like me with my figure working in the kitchen and they tell me I can get no lunch break. I'll look them down in the eye. So you're telling me in the United States of America, as a United States citizen, I don't get no lunch break? Okay, fine. Since you say I don't get no lunch break, anybody in the team that get a lunch break beside me, just so you know, do not go home.
So, David, you understand? Like, this is half my team doesn't get a lunch break.
Half your
That's
team.
how bullshit it is. But the managers are enjoying their meal in the office.
No. And the manager getting their meals, best believe. I will have the team come in with a camera. You will yank that meal. Since the team don't get no lunch break, you don't deserve no lunch break. Everybody working, including the manager.
Yeah,
If you want to tell me otherwise, that is not the case, then let me ask you a question. Are you willing to go to jail for breaking the law?
yeah, that's prison time, isn't it?
Hmm?
If you don't get your lunch break, it's prison time, isn't it?
Oh, they're breaking a lot of labor law. It could lead to prison time. It could lead to multi-million-dollar fine. It could lead to a lot of lawsuits. And they will have to pay you millions of dollars or more because they broke a lot of laws. Believe me when I say that. And that's a tech IT specialist. Sometimes the man have to tell us, because we're in New York State, we have to take lunch break. If we don't take lunch break, they're in trouble. Because they know for the simple fact the government will crack down on the behind. I remember their security, I'm working for security for a company, and they claim we don't get overtime time and a half. Trying to find one of the team member sued their behind with a class action lawsuit. They lost their security license to do business in New York State for that. Yeah, they're a company that want to play that game. Now, this is why I want to move back to Africa. There are countries that got no mercy for companies anymore. If you go to abuse your worker and think you get away with it, they coming for you. I like to be in that area so that you cannot abuse people, right? So when they report your act to the government, and the government comes for your behind, they grab you by the neck and by the balls. So like, okay, you think you're slick. It's time for the repercussion.
Bro, I used to even get a break back in the diner days when I used to work in diners. That's how sad this is.
Every United States worker, regardless of the kind of job you are doing, it's required to have a lunch break.
Yeah. Alicia, what's going on, hon?
Hi, sorry guys. I'm away on vacation this week.
It's all right. It's all right.
I can only see a black screen. You know the rules.
I can see her. She's in the dark.
Yeah, listen. She doesn't need a smile. She's gonna smile and bright the camera over right.
Oh Lord, see your jokes.
I told you I'm away this week.
There's no excuses.
No, you'll get used to trust me. I thought of the same way too.
Yeah, a lot of people get nervous. I was never nervous. I look at it as like, you're doing like FaceTime. Pretend it's FaceTime. You know it's watching. It's us.
But the thing
That's
is, we're having a real discussion on a topic that it
How's that?
It-
A lot
that's good.
better.
But the thing is, this topic right here, when I was breaking it down, when you talk about going to distance, it's not even going to distance anymore. Because a lot of ethnic groups don't believe in going to distance. They're more like, I cannot take a break. I cannot take a vacation. I cannot do this. I got so much riding on me. I got
All
so
right, David,
much
you had a lot of
responsibility.
talk. Let Alicia get in here. So, Alicia, when you hear going to shut up, David, going to the distance, does it mean to you personally?
I would say maybe it means, and I feel it every day. Keep going, no matter what.
Mhm.
Yes, you got struggles. Everybody has struggles. I do know that, So I try not to dwell on my struggles and just kind of learn that everybody's dealing with something in life. And that's kind of what gets me out of like the sulking, oh my, this sucks, this is
The PD,
terrible.
right?
So it gets me out of that mode. And that's what makes me go and go and go each day. And of course, who I'm going for also matters. Like I'm going for my son every day.
And you have that motivation, and that is a great motivation to have. But some people don't have that motivation, and they just grind. Myself and David, I would say, David has what is it, 4 kids? David, 5 kids? How much is it? I'm not gonna be a dick. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4 kids.
2 kids, 1 granddaughter, and 1 stepdaughter.
Okay, so he's a great grandfather too,
Uh-huh.
but he has that motivates him.
But beside that, but beside the kid part is there's a legacy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta tell you something in the ethnic group. It's etching them mentally. Whereby they remind you who last name are you holding on to. And you cannot stain the last name. You cannot belittle the last name. You gotta hold it higher than the next one did before you. So imagine that thing being etched in your mind mentally. So you get to adulthood and it gets to a point whereby it's like you can never give yourself a break. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Other ethnic group got it bad depending on different level.
You know, it's funny, bro. You said this. This is hilarious. You said that because I used to give her shit for this one back in the day when we first met, because she used to be a teacher and she used to get the summers off, and she's just like rubbing in my face, like I got the whole summer off. I'm like, yeah, you used to piss me the fuck off when you used to do that.
Yeah, but here's the joke though. In New
Mm-hmm.
York City, yes, there's a summer off, but some teachers don't get the summer off. They are forced to work in the school, depending on what position they're in, and they have to do a lot of things going on. And I've noticed that. I used to work for the Board of Ed and that back in the days. And I see some people say, yeah, some of us have to come back to the school. We got to go to some of the classrooms, we got to go to a bunch of paperwork, help out with getting things prepared for the next semester, or they got to do all kind of different programs. And I watch them, I'm like, don't you get a summer off or something? Not everybody, but some people, we stuck here.
Exactly.
I'm like, what? Real talk. Board
It's
of
really-
Education.
It's
So
really
before
not.
we move on, let's get this guy in here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president. Mr. President, how are you doing tonight?
I'm okay. I'm in the middle of a workout, so I've been listening to most of the
see.
night. But can you guys hear? How's my sound?
We're good actually overall for this
I'm
you're using a
using-
new setup, right?
Yeah. So I figured
Not
I'd
bad,
test it out here. While I'm getting ready for the latter part of my workout. So I'm about to do squats. So I figured I would test this out while listening in. But then I was listening in and said, well, let me just come in and let me see if I can participate this way. So
what is your? No, we just lost him.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
Yeah, I think he might
Yeah.
hit the wrong button by accident.
But at least you know what I'm talking about. When I say some teachers don't never
Yes.
get that summer break off, and I've been wondering how did they do that. It is like it is like a rotation with teachers get stuck on summer, or some get it permanently.
Isn't it volunteer, Alicia, or is it a rotation? How does it work? Explain that to us.
A lot of teachers have to continue working over the summer because remember, it's not that we get paid extra over the summer. Your pay is just spread out each month. You're not making extra money over the summer sitting on your ass. Your pay is spread out. So like teachers that want 9-month pay, yeah, they're getting their 9-month pay, but then they don't get paid for 3 months. So that 9-month pay just gets spread out. So teachers that are choosing a 12-month pay, it just means that you're getting less in your paycheck during the school weeks.
And some got to do actual working as
Yeah.
a tutor to some other program.
Yes, and I tutor. I used to have my own tutoring business, which hopefully, I know that should be a goal of mine still to get it back up and running. When I was diagnosed, I kind of dropped it because I just had so much going on.
I mean, that's the last thing you need to worry about. You know, you have to worry about your health first.
Yeah.
Before that, because the bills are going to be there no matter what, so they don't make a difference.
Yeah, but the thing is, you look at how they're getting paid. I've been back in 2004, 2005. A lot of teachers have literally overworked themselves beyond their actual limit. Even to the point whereby they sometimes have to take money out of their pocket to buy material for their class.
Always.
On average, a school teacher has spent between
Yes.
500 to 1,500 every school year.
Mm-hmm.
to
You
invest-
are right
to
on.
invest in their school. And the only thing they can get them back is like $500.
Yep.
I would
And
be,
don't forget, the bell rings at 3:30, but you're not done with your work. You're going home and grading papers, setting up assignments for the next day and activities for the next day.
And also,
and I'm,
don't you guys have buy supplies out of your pocket sometimes too?
Yes, I spent tons of money on supplies.
I've been to over 300 schools in New York City, and what I've saw and observed, I felt as if the United States government has robbed a lot of teachers in their face. Literally. So some teachers in the other state, they go to the not the parent teacher meeting, they go to the county hearing meeting for the district and tell them this might be my last meeting. I feel like y'all don't give two F what we go through. Y'all make all kind of excuse, but you don't realize what we got to deal with, what kind of handicap we got to deal with. Unless you work for a private school was for this day they don't make no sense for the past two decades. You making so much money from the tuition fee, and on top of that, you get government funding. But the government funding is coming from the public school funding that you keep taking from them and giving it to them, which I've been aware of for the past 2 decades. A lot of parents don't pay attention to that. I've been scratching my head like, if any profession in this country that go beyond their limit are mostly school teachers. They get to a point they carry their work home and they carry that stress home as well.
So here's a little side story. It's another YouTube career called Dancy Bearded. He is the #1 beard YouTuber. Anyway, so originally he was a full-time teacher, and after COVID, I'm not sure what exactly happened. From what I'm hearing, and you can vouch for this, Alicia, probably too. The school districts got worse and worse and worse after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
To the point he goes like, "Fuck this! It's not worth a paycheck." He was making more
Right.
YouTube videos than actually going to work. And there was people were like, "What are you doing? You're gonna lose your pension. You're gonna lose your insurance." I'm like, fuck it! It's not worth the goddamn stress. So, what exactly happened after COVID? Would you say? And we'll get after that. We're gonna get back on topic.
Well, I left teaching in 2018 because it just was very overwhelming. The kids were just getting worse and worse and worse. I had other job opportunities come up that actually were more worth it for me with my degree. But get back to what Pete said. What happened is, this is exactly what happened, is the kids and the parents are taking over the school districts. The teachers are not in charge anymore. You used to go in, a parent would be mad at their child. Not anymore. The parent's mad at the teacher. There is no support at all giving to teachers nowadays. From the top admin, there's no support, and you have to be afraid of getting sued now by almost every parent in the districts. You dare do something to their child, they are coming after you with a lawsuit.
I remember back in the day, we used to get hit by a teacher.
Oh,
no.
that part too. You have to be afraid of the student when they hit you.
Mhm.
I'm seeing all over the web for the past maybe 5 or 6 years. There's some teachers have lost their cool already. In New York City, I remember a teacher say, if one more student trying to raise their hand saying they want to stop me, that'll be the day that I will quit my job and never come back. It's getting out of control to the point whereby the teacher are not protected. And yeah, students threatening, talking about they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I'll be honest with you. The Board of Education have not been doing that job for the past 2 decades. They allowed that thing to slowly die out over the period of time.
The school districts, are, at least from my personal experience, and Alicia knows I don't have the greatest experience with school districts. Let's put it this way: we love-hate relationship. They love to see me leave the building, and they hate me see me coming through the building. When I was a karate teacher, they fucking hated me. Like when my students defend themselves, because they being bullied, and they says, "Oh, you students shouldn't be doing that." I looked at them like, "High five, dude!" I was proud of his fucking ass, knocking him out and stuff like that. And like I was one of those teachers, like, yo, what the fuck, like. But the only time I got like I kind of had to take it, well them back a little bit is when they start snapping people's necks. And I'm like, we might have to take that out of it would change that rotation or that. Like maybe we should put that in teens class, not the kids class. So
How
hey,
you
Marianne,
doing?
what's going on?
I'm all right. Sorry, I'm
All right.
just trying to figure out what I just did wrong. Um,
You're all right.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Let's get Paul. So when I asked you a question, going the distance, what does that mean to you?
It means to me that those things which you say that are most important to you, that those things which you believe that are your priorities in life, you don't quit on those.
Mhm.
It's just to me, it's just as simple as that. So
I
uh,
think.
whether it be your faith, whether it be your marriage, whether it be your children, whether it be your life's purpose, whether it be career wise. I don't necessarily want to say job because your job may not be your life's purpose, but those things which you find real value in, those things which you say are important to you, you don't quit on those things when things get hard.
Mm,
You don't quit on those things when things get challenging. But I think that the issue is a lot of times people find themselves in places where they don't belong, or they've been in a place for too long, and they're not asking themselves, should I stay here? And I think for a lot of things in your life, I think everything is a reason, everything has a season to it. And so, there is such a thing. You might be hanging on to something for too long, but again, it may have served a purpose for that particular time. So that's something that you always have to be revisiting: is what I'm investing in, is it worth it for me to continue in this effort for the period of time that I'm doing it? And if it is, then you just don't quit on it. To me, it's just as simple as that. That doesn't mean it's not hard. Sometimes it doesn't mean it's not frustrating or challenges. Trust me, I've had to deal with a lot of estrogen this week in my house from everybody. Women are, especially I have adult women in this house, and the house is just getting smaller by the day. And I've just had to deal with a lot this week in terms of just my daughters, my wife, just a lot of stuff. But you know, that is what I signed up for, and so I don't quit on those things. So going the distance is, yeah, I'm going to be a husband, I'm going to be a father, ride or die, and to me, there's no exceptions to that. And so, for me, and that's something that I find it doesn't do a lot for me to complain about it. It's simply a matter of just being about it, and because that doesn't do anything. Venting about it really doesn't help that much either. It's just that you know the things you need to be doing, do them without hesitation, and stop doing that mental gymnastics in your mind in terms of, well, should I do this or should I not? It's, I give it to my daughters straight, I give it to my wife straight, whether they take my advice or not, or my counsel. That's up to them. They can either take the wisdom that I give, or they deal with the consequences of their actions. And so each one of them, it's like the whole week it's just been constant with dealing with emotions and just how they're feeling in a moment, and them saying things that they shouldn't say and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And so it's but like I said, for me, there's no quit in that. So going the distance is those things that you love, those things you passion. Look, I'm working out now, certainly at this hour, and certainly I don't feel like doing it, but certainly mornings have been difficult. And so because my mornings have been difficult, I decided to switch to evenings. And I got a late start tonight because I had to deal with some stuff early on. That's why I was late to the show, and that's why I'm still working out now. But I wasn't going to quit because this is something that has to get done. And so I did half my workout already. I'm about to go into the squat rack and do what I absolutely do not like doing, but I do it because I see the benefits of doing it. So for me, I don't question it. I just do it. And more times than not, the fact that I do it and I stay consistent with it, I always feel good about myself. I feel better about myself later on because I know that I did the right thing. I know I gave the due attention to those things that need to be dealt with. And so I don't worry about, how I may be feeling in the moment. I just know this has to get done. So I got my knees wrapped with straps because I'm not as young as I used to be. I got my weight belt on, got my warm up set here that I'm about to do, which I will share with you guys. But certainly, it's about just getting it done and just not complaining. So the thing I cannot stand more than anything is complaining when you know the right things to do. Why complain? Just do what you got to do, and you'll get the outcomes that are supposed to happen. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. So going the distances again, but you have to do the mental work that says, am I doing, am I in where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing the right things? Am I doing right by the people that I'm responsible for? Yeah. So just go and do the right thing and stop complaining about it. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
Thank you, Paul. Mariana, you're up.
Okay. What it means,
Before you go,
yes,
pay attention to Paul, how he does his squats. Next week on the show, I want you to do like exactly the same thing and double the weight.
double the weight. Okay.
I'm joking. Go ahead.
All right. Going the distance. What that means to me is do what you have to do. Is like you wake up, you're alive, you see another day. Of course, you have to, let's say somebody asks a favor, let's say a relative, do it. If it's necessary, do it. That's to me is going the distance. If somebody say I need help, let's say, whatever the case is, I don't, I need somebody to take me to my doctor's appointment. That's going the distance. Or, I need to talk to you about something. You know, have a year, that's going the distance. I mean, work is like that's like in I would say in the back burner, because work is not going to describe what's your purpose in life. Work is basically you need to pay the bills, of course. But going distance you have to do in order to basically to make yourself feel good, but also to help others to make yourself feel good. Um, I mean that's the way I look at it. I mean, there's you have a purpose on this planet, and God give you a purpose, and sometimes God give you a reason. You have these situations that come across front of you. It could be somebody that in dire need. It could be a family, a friend, whatever the case is. You have to um, have ears or help them out. Don't be like, oh, I don't have time. Everybody has time in some sort of way. Doesn't matter what it is. Um, to me, that's going the distance just to help the ones you really care. That really is, that pushes you to that you really care for. Other than that, I will not say, I'm not saying but this is more for people that you care for, that you fight for, not for somebody. A job comes and goes, I will say, because job will never be there in your lifetime. Because people come and go in careers. All these bosses come and goes, whatever the case is. But I will say the people that you care, there's a reason for it, that you have to go beyond, but also help them no matter what. Because sometimes there's nobody out there. There's nobody, could. To me, it's going to the distance, and that's all I could say about it, what I'm gonna give. So.
It's good. It's good, man. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I think she had a thing she correct on that, Marina, but I go to add what she's saying. Sometimes go to Disney whereby your family run a business and
Hmm.
everybody be hands on deck. So it's not a job anymore. It's
Hmm.
a livelihood because it's one thing you have a job, you work for a boss, which is fine, which is dandy. But I've watched people who run a family business and everybody is not given the room to say, oh, I don't want to feel like work. I want to take a no. Everybody's on hands on deck because if the family business is not making money, everybody's bills is not being paid. Everybody's salary or whatever you want to call it is not going to their pocket. So I see the dynamic whereby whenever it's a family business and you see every family member are playing their part and playing their role to the point whereby you can tell this is not something that you treat it after you treat a job.
Mhm.
because the next young generation, they're watching you while you're working, how you conduct yourself. And sometimes the young generation are the same one when they're done with school, they come to to your business. They're doing homework in the back room. When they're done doing their homework, they're coming out to help the elders. Okay, uncle, auntie, what can I do here? They get understand the business because that will be their position sooner or later. So I get it. That could also could say going the distance because you're building something you're passing down to the next generation, which is a legacy thing. It's no longer a job anymore. It's their livelihood. It's their life. They what keep them grounded. They what keep them whole. They what keep paying the bill, paying the light, whatever, pay for the college tutoring, then and then some. This is something you have to keep within the family. No one can because you lose it. That's a lifeline. So I've observed that and I was like, oh, this is different. So that's going to distance too. Am I correct, Mariana?
Yeah, that's correct. I will say. I mean, it's sometimes how to say it. Like sometimes life kind of, I don't know. Sometimes it's been assigned to you, but you have a choice, or you don't have a choice, and it could be, it's sometimes it's, I will say this is going to be arranged. You like it or not. Either you put up with it or you don't put up with it. Like it could be, let's say, for instance, okay, let's say I had a conversation with Peter. I know my father been saying, oh, we should have open a business. My father is a professional baker for over 40 years. And he wants to open this, but it's so easy back then. But now it's like it's a hit and miss.
I
Like,
won't say it's a hit and miss.
I
I'm going to correct you on that. I think is if you have a good bakery skill like your father does, is
mhm,
fine. But coming up with the money to open it, to get their equipment, the storefront, the
yeah,
display, get the staff. I think that's where because when the day one you open, that after you pass your health inspection, all that stuff, you're in the red.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't think it's luck as much. It's more if you got a good recipe. You know that me and you've been cooking for half
mm,
a goddamn lives. Oh, that's
yeah.
just say that out loud, actually. But fuck you, David. It's just we can fight, bro. New York's not too far, man. I tell you. Paul be the
It
referee.
depending. It's also depending location where the
Location,
business goes.
exactly. His
So
location is good. One is recipe. I
yeah,
don't believe in luck. To be honest, anything you do in life,
no, it's yeah. Anything
I would say if you open
yeah.
a bakery or
Hmm.
a tech company,
Hmm.
a personal training studio,
Hmm.
a puppet master school, whatever. I don't think luck has anything to do with it. Is look, if you're good enough in your business and your craft
Hmm.
is A, you know what you're looking for. I mean, your location number
Yeah.
one. B is knowing your equipment you need and getting the right deals because you might buy like the ninja stuff that is the most top of the line, but you can
Hmm.
buy other companies as good, but that doesn't have the fancy name, and you're saving a couple of
Hmm.
$1,000 on that. You see where I'm going with this?
Yes. Yes.
So your father's a roofer, right? I mean, Alicia, your father's a roofer, right?
Yes.
Does he get always the most expensive shit, or he gets the stuff that's on bargain most of the times as a business owner?
I would say he's built up himself to the people that have served him, and that's who he sticks with. The people that
Make deals
he
with him.
kept with. Yeah.
Yeah, and I bet you those guys who had deals with, he probably goes out, probably have a cigar with him once in a while, go out for dinner,
Hmm.
lunch, have drinks, build what was the word I'm looking for? Come on, help me, guys. It's called what?
Networking.
Client here.
Thank you. That's where exactly where I was going. Network. So even going that he went that distance to build his relationship, to make those
Yeah.
handshakes, to even kiss ass
Hmm.
for a little bit for the first 2-3 years, and then he goes, I've been a customer for you guys for a couple of years. Come here, a little break a little bit. You know what? You're right. Let me losing you as a customer. Let me cut you 50 cents of whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nails.
Hmm.
And he builds that relationship.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this now, guys?
And to
Hmm.
even continue afterwards, like
Good point.
my family might not need him for like business trucks now, but he's still part of our family. So we go to him for our personal business now, like
dealership,
ourselves.
right?
What was that?
Like a dealership, you mean?
Yeah, or like who took care of our trucks, or the auto dealer. Like we still go to him.
Mechanic, you mean? The mechanic. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you meant where you bought your trucks from. I'm sorry.
No, like we'll still go to him. Like he'll still, because we don't need him to do the trucks anymore, but he'll take care of our cars. So we kept with him.
Well, I see your car conditioner sometimes, so you need to keep up. Like you forget to put gas in it sometimes, hon.
Yeah. Yes. Here's a funny story. I was on my way to Jersey.
You ran out of gas.
No, but I was halfway down 81. I'm like, oh crap, my light's on. The next exit, I'm like, I better pull off and get some gas.
Oh my
I'm surprised
God.
you didn't get lost. That's the thing, too. But I hate to say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised one bit with you.
I know.
Yeah. But you know, it's those relationships your father built. He still kept contact with these people over the years. That's my point. Is trying to get to networking, because he went the extra mile. He made the distance to make this relationship. Same thing with you, Mariana. Your father has relationships over the years. He made contacts, right?
Hmm. Yes.
So he how long? It took him a while to make those relationships, right?
Yeah, it take a while, but of course, sometimes you could have it for the, short amount of years, but then you decided, okay, let's move on. Next, it's every few years, every 5 or 10 years or whatever the case is, because it depending, where you're going, change of location. So yeah,
Let me ask you guys a
it
question. I'll start with David first, and we'll go around the circle. Everybody has hard journeys in life. What is the most hard journey you ever faced, and how did you overcome it? And you look back now, and like you went to that distance and you conquered it.
Hard journey. Wow. I think that was my career path. Let me tell you why. If anybody who understands these Africans very well, about you have old school African parents, I better never say it very well. They will tell you either you are a banker, if you are a doctor, or a lawyer. You had to be one of the three, because that is the sign of success, right? But when you don't choose those three and you choose IT, and you're also dependent on about IT, you will get shit on. They'll look at you like you are a failure, unless they're well educated parent and they understand that is the next best thing, that's the next thing that's coming out there. But they won't put all that on the thing, they'll more like support you. But it's stuck on that lawyer, banker, and doctor mentality, you screwed. Because they'll compare with other people, kids who are bankers, who are doctors, who are lawyers. And believe me, you don't want to be around when they're all talking about, hey, my son that graduated from law school, he became, and you're out right there, and your mom or your dad looking at you trying to throw you under the bus.
Mhm.
That anyone from any ethnic will understand that thing, and that is not a nice environment to be in. Even though you want to walk away, but you can't. I think it's an unspoken rule. You can't be too far away from your parent, even though they compare with other people, people, kids. You gotta be on standby and take the trash off. Now they praising you, yeah, you will be there to take the praises. But if you didn't choose the path they expect you to take, no matter how many years I got shit on, imagine that. It's not
So,
cool.
David, a funny thing, you're kind of right about that, because a lot of my adopted over the years through my mom are African, and no offense, 9 out of 10 of them are very good doctors, are hardworking guys. I can't, but that 1%, I had one, her PC. All right, her family doctor. Most laziest motherfucker I ever seen in my life, bro. He go like, anytime I go, oh, my mom has an issue, whatever the issue goes, here, take it. He give me a phone number. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Call the number, specialist. Everything is specialist with him. He will never do anything. He would not even check a blood pressure. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me now, bro. I'm like, I got to the point like I gotta get rid of this guy. All right, Alicia, you're up.
The hardest challenge you said? Is that what you said?
Yeah. One of the most hard
So-
challenge.
As I have talked about my breast cancer journey, but one thing that got me through that was thinking about all my other challenges in life that I got through. And one thing that I still think of as being a challenge is when I finally got the courage to leave my abusive ex-husband. It wasn't easy, and it definitely did not happen quickly. It took me time and time again for me to finally realize I'm okay if I do it. I can do it. I have the confidence. I have the courage. And one day I finally did get that courage and confidence to be able to end it. But it definitely was a challenge where I should have ended it many years before I actually ended it. And the main reason, again, I ended it was for my son.
How old was your son when you ended it?
5 years old.
5. And I don't mean you have talked about this, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much you will feel comfortable to share, but he does show signs from your ex, PTSD, in other words, correct?
Yes, he was diagnosed with that.
PTSD?
Yeah.
When was he diagnosed with that, if you don't mind me asking?
That was about, well, let's see, 8th grade, 8, 7, 6, 5. About maybe 5 years ago?
So when he was 5, pretty much.
No, about when he was like maybe 8.
8? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I've been around your son, and I see he has
Yeah.
a little bit of temper on him at times.
Yes.
And he does not like hearing the word no.
Right.
Yeah. So you think he gets that from his father?
Yes, I think a lot of it came from his father.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because which I often kick myself for not leaving sooner, but I can't just keep going over and over that in my head. I left, I got out, and I did what I could.
You can't really be mad at yourself you didn't get out sooner because you weren't ready. You got out when you did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to find the right time for you. And that was the right time for you. We all talk about it all the time in panels, people, groups. Oh, I'll leave him right away. I'll leave her.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't work like that. I was in an abusive relationship myself. Like, you know that.
Yeah.
And obviously, I didn't stay with him as long as you did. But I got out when I could. You know what I'm saying? Not because I couldn't even get it out of it. When I realized this, okay, I carry one chance, second chance, third chance. And after a while, like, I'm done with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. Mariana, you're up.
Okay, my biggest struggles. This one wasn't easy, and I had to like put my foot down. And this has happened 2 months ago. When it got to the point, it was affecting, my mental health. Um, I had to block my sister. This wasn't easy because we went through hard times. Since when we grew up together, we got kicked out, but it got to the point after when she started, cursing me out, insulting me, and the things I do, bend over backwards, helping her out. And this is, I say to myself, is this healthy? To somebody to call you I'm gonna say in live TV, call me a bitch, get out of my driveway. That I didn't sleep very well that night. Okay, and it got to the point. I say, you know what? I have to, I blocked her. This is 2 months ago. This has happened around middle of May, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and I know that I have no problems talking to her sons, my nephews, because kids will be innocent regardless. But it gets to the point that to somebody to insult you and they think it's okay or putting you down, and I say, you know what? This is not worth it. Until she comes to her senses and she comes around, then but right now she's too stubborn. She's not going to admit that. It's sad to say I do care for her, but there was no need to get disrespected and insulted that way. um that was a big struggle, and I had to put a stop because it was too long. Like, there are times it's like I can't take it anymore. Like, it's after that and you yell at me, like, I pick you up, and it's like late in the evening. It was after 10 o'clock. It was raining that night, and I was asking her something, and I know everything. She always kept a secret. Everything, I don't need to know, but as a sister, we're supposed to know, no matter, even though it's a little, like, I was like her mother to her because because our mother passed away. This is over 20 years ago, and we're supposed to look out each other, but to have a sister to insult you and curse you out like that, like, you know what? I can't deal with it. And it's that was a big struggle, and that it was too long, and I had to, and then I have my other, because I'm basically the eldest. I'm the oldest child of the five. I have three sisters and one brother, and my youngest sister reached out to me. She's asking me, "You're okay?" I say, "Yeah, I'm okay." She say, I understand why you do that, because I told her it's because of my mental health, because there's no need to be insulted and disrespected like that. And it's also due to the fact that, she even admit that she's toxic. And it's sad to say, you don't choose family, but, it happens. You're not going to have a perfect family no matter what. Um, and it's unfortunate, but as I say, I do care for her, but it comes to the point I say, I can't. It has to stop. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to cut the cord in order to protect your mental well-being, not to have somebody putting you like all these insults or putting you down because it was feeding nothing but negativity, and I just can't take it anymore. And but it got a little better because it just kind of blocked it off. And I didn't have it got to the point, it's not I have a choice, I have to do it, because it got to the point, it was getting really ridiculous.
And Mariana, me and
So
you had multiple conversations about this, if you remember. And
yeah,
you always tell me, the only time your sister called you when she did what?
needs me,
Need
or
something
when it could be,
to
yeah,
ride, or something for your nephews, or
yeah,
is always money involved or a ride involved? Not call you, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Come over and hang out for an hour. And
no,
you
not
already,
even that.
yeah, I don't have the perfect, relationship myself either, but
Hmm.
and I did the same thing. I had to cut him off. Wally, what's going on, my man? So, and I didn't have the perfect relationship myself. So, Pope,
Yeah.
you're up, my man.
Hey, that's to me, that's a hard question because um, my life has been hard. You know what I
Good
mean?
point.
It's it's but I think that's the only thing that's guaranteed in life is that there's going to be hard. It was hard growing up with a mom with mental illness. It was hard growing up with um, just a split family. It was hard living with my father and my brother, who would always pick on me because they thought I was, I didn't have a lot of, I had a lot of book sense, but not a lot of street sense, and they were always wants to remind me of that. It was hard when I had my auto accident back in '94 and recovering from that. Almost lost my life and building up from that. Raising kids. I mean, like I said, I've dealt with a lot of estrogen this week, and just dealing with all of the personalities. And again, I really felt for Mariana with the sister and having the bickering and stuff. And I see it, in my daughters now. I think part of it is just a function of the house is getting too small, and certainly, each one of them is seeking, their own sort of life path and destiny and whatnot. And they feel sometimes restricted here, and it's just sometimes, I think there's a time when we need to kind of grow up and find our own way. And sometimes that's difficult when your family's on top of each other. I mean, the three of them share one bathroom. Go figure that out. I mean, I don't see how people do it, but three grown women sharing a single bathroom, that's drama. So it's just that every part of my life has been a struggle. And just what I'm just showing, doing tonight, you guys see me, I'm working out here. I got another set to do, but that's a struggle also. So to me, working out is sort of a mirror of life, pushing past your limits, doing things that you didn't do before, putting weight on your back that's uncomfortable, and knowing that you have to do the right things so you don't come out getting injured. So again, exercise is struggle. That's one of the things when I'm working with clients. A lot of times I use the workout as a model for life. That if you really want to work out, like people who train with me, my thing is this: if you're not on the floor after the workout, you didn't work out hard enough. That's just how I've always been. I hold myself accountable to that, and I hold my clients accountable to that. You should not be able to do anything else after the workout is over. It should be challenging, just like life is challenging. So I use my gym as a place to kind of teach those life lessons. I work with teens, I work with adults, to how to overcome things, how to when you feel like quitting, when the pain, when those muscles start to get sore, and you push through and persevere to get to the end. Life is the same way. So certainly every part of my life has been a struggle. But they say pressure, it either busts pipes or it builds diamonds. And I'm not saying I'm fully refined, but I'm certainly am better off than I was. And the crazy thing about growing up, I always looked at myself as last. Like I said, I was the last one born in my family. I was always the weakest kid. I was the puny kid. I couldn't play sports very well. I was uncoordinated. I was like literally, I was Steve Rogers. And but just over time, things started happening, and I started, getting successes in key areas, and being around the right people, meeting the right people, meeting my wife, and just continually in the process of just trying to improve all the time. Not always successful, but just in the process all the time. And so that's really it. So I can't point to one thing and say what was the toughest challenge. I mean, certainly almost losing my life, or growing up in fear of going home every day because I never knew what mindset my mom was going to be in. I would either get a beating, or I would get a scolding, or be accused of something, or I just didn't know what I was getting into. Yeah, all of that is a struggle. And so, when I see, and I got to remind myself that, certainly when I see my daughters or people who have a heck of a lot more than I ever had, complain about the lives that they have, I have to kind of bite my tongue a little bit, because it's like you don't know what struggle is. But again, I know I'm better off because of it. When I had to start taking care of my parents, so I still haven't resolved everything with my mom, but in her latter years, I had to start taking care of her and my dad. So again, people who didn't necessarily give me a positive self image, but I had to take that on. But again, my self image grew, um, because I did that. And so I'm grateful to God for showing me that, because if it was up to me, it would have been somebody else. But at the time, it was me. and I had to step up. And that's the like I kid people. I'm serious. That's why I lost a lot of my hair. Just the stress of dealing with all of that. And but I became a stronger, better person because of it, and I became more empathetic, especially with people who are going through similar things, having to take care of an elderly parent, having to deal with difficult people, try to be more understanding and whatnot. I think just my life has been forged in such a way that I can, that I can then hopefully in these spaces just encourage people to always do the right things. And like I said earlier, just not, doing that mental gymnastics, thinking about should I do this or not or whatever. Just do it. I mean, you may not see the benefit of that in the immediate time, or even it could be years later. But again, your character just gets built one brick at a time. And so who I am today is a product of all of that. And as crazy as I would say, yeah, did I wish things could be different? Yeah, but I don't think I would trade anything because I don't think I'd be the person that I am today if I didn't go through those things. So rather than complaining about the struggle of life, embrace the struggle and just but you just keep doing the right thing and persevere through it. That's kind of what got me through. Like I said, exercise has always been a place where I've been able to find solace and just apply the principles I put here into life, and just gotta kind of keep moving forward. So yeah, so I don't have a singular point or episode in my life. It's that my whole life has been a struggle, but I keep just keep pushing through it, just like I push through the wayside.
So the question I have for everybody, I want to start with Dave and go around the circle again, is as you're going through these struggles to and you're trying to find where your landing zone is, you're going through that distance. Did you question your values, or did you create values through that, or you learn values?
I'll be honest with you. I did question my value multiple times. I have the type of thing called crossroads. I was questioning my identity. I was questioning my journey. I was questioning my faith. The last one, which is critical, I was questioning why am I alive? For who or for what purpose? Because anyone who have heard my story from the Black Center System Network, I didn't have a such easy upbringing. There was a lot of things that got me asking myself the question, why me? Why do I have to go through it? Why do I have to feel as if I don't belong here? Why do I have to feel like I gotta be constantly reminded that if they want to, they can unalive you anytime and day? Why do I have to feel like I gotta walk on extra? Why I gotta feel like I gotta sleep light just to make sure that I'm trying to, you know, those kind of thing. That was stuck in my head when you got to young adulthood and you're seeing whereby it's almost as if what the hell? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I approach it, I will stick to myself a lot of time. I don't want to. When I was going through that thing, I was alone. I was stuck in my head. I was asking myself multiple questions, trying to find an answer. I didn't have no one to talk to. You see a young adult male who's lost in his thoughts. You can call this guy's name. You be up in his face 10 times, calling his name, and he doesn't move. You start to wonder what's going on. What kind of young kid thinks so much? That was my thing. So yeah, I was questioning myself a lot of times. It didn't feel comfortable because when you question yourself and you wait for the answer didn't come at all, and you all you have is silence for a while. It makes you ponder, why am I here? Where do I need to be? I wanted to join the military. But I mean, question, would that be the right decision to do? Because you and I both know this very well. That a lot of young males who go through what we were going through, they felt as if the military was the way out. And they did that in some cases whereby some say, no, that's too much. That's too extreme. Let's do a reset again and then figure out what the next path for them. Other was like either I make it in the military, or there's nothing else for me in this life. Remember, JT, what we know Parker mentioned that he had no choice. Either he do something with his life with the military, or you be like his peers, or either locked up or whatever. So imagine that dilemma that's put on a male individual, and you don't have a good support system at home. This is not talked about much, and it go both for men and women. To hear what women had to go through when they feel like I think they were a mistake and they got shoved in the street at a younger age, 14, 15, 16, depending on what area you talk about, United States, North, South Carolina, Alabama, state whereby it's not like New York City. What do they have to go through? How do they face life? Especially in Chicago, if you hearing that same thing about I had to learn from the street, which is that's not a good idea at all. But what do you think? What think they what the shove in front of them? Not everybody had a good hand. That's the harsh reality. And not just the United States alone. Let's not talk about outside the United States, where the level of difficulty is much, much higher. I think they facing it at a young age. I remember watching this is true story, in my country, Nigeria. A 9-year-old kid is making brick for a living because mommy and daddy don't have the money to send him to school. So a 9-year-old kid making money for the household? Making cement
That's
brick early in the morning?
that's pretty harsh, but that's common overseas, bro. Let me keep that in mind.
And I see that for several years. And you have a 9-year-old kid who don't have to go through all that, know nothing about the hardships that their counterpart are going through outside the United States. It got to a point whereby before he turned 10, he's a pro making bricks. He's making 300 to 500 bricks a day. So when I see lazy ass kids, they go, "Oh, I don't want to do the dishes." I'm trying not to curse them the hell out. I'm trying not to. Because what I experienced firsthand, it's not through no TV between. It is face to face real life. You going to school and you got a 9-year-old kid who's not able to go to school and have to make cement brick to make money so that they can have food on the table in their household. Everybody is hustling. We have someone selling cold water, someone selling peanut on the highway, trying to make money. So this is why I had a extreme level of pet peeve to lazy kids. I just don't like it. I just don't. Those those regions, there's no janitor in the school. Yeah, kid clean that classroom, wiping the window down, dusting the table, wiping
I
the
remember
board,
those days. Yeah.
cutting the grass,
But hold on, David.
cutting the grass with a cutlass.
Hold on.
Yep.
So, David, so let me ask you this. So, you talk about how hard that life is if you were back in Africa, but at the same time, you talk about always wanting to go back
And
there.
and the
So I'm trying to I'm trying to understand that, and then I'm also trying to understand if you don't have that kind of struggle here, then why
and let me
complain?
tell you why I'm glad you asked that question. I say I want to go back because there have been a major shift and a major change. When I was there, we had dictatorship run by the military. That was the hardship was forced upon the people. As of lately, there have been a turnaround whereby it's not like it was forced anymore. People are coming together to help build the community, help build their nation. There had to be a shift of ideology. And I felt I ought to be a part of that than be part of something that just everybody's losing their mind over stupidity. That is my thing. I'm aware of the hardship. I went through it already. I've seen it. I even say the country have the resource and the manpower to be much better, but it all takes a strong leader to see that vision. Now you have a 37-year-old man who lead the charge in less than 2 years. He's doing way more than most presidents and other African leaders saying, you know what? If he can do, why don't we do the same thing? Because it'll make no excuse anymore. And that change is happening already as we speak.
But my issue, David, is it seems like it's not going to matter what if the country becomes developed, then there's going to be problems. It's almost as if a lot of people they're looking for a life without hardship or a life that's easier, and I don't think that is. I mean, developed nations die.
I,
It just
that's
is. I
what you're saying.
mean, what you want for Africa will happen to Africa once it gets to a certain level of affluence. It happens to
That's
every
what you're
country.
saying.
Japan is dying. Japan was the most technically advanced country in the world at one point in the 80s and 90s, and they're dying
You
off.
got a point.
So again, I mean, I don't think, this utopia that everybody's looking for, I don't think it exists. And you can always say someone's had it better or someone's had it harder. That's why my thing is, why not just make the most of what you do
I get,
have?
I get the
You
point.
don't have to. You nor your kids have to go sell water on the street to make $9 a day. You don't have to do that. So again, my thing is just make the most of what you have, and not complain so much about what you don't have, or like the grass is greener somewhere else.
I get the
If
point.
anything, especially in a globalized society, anything could pop off at any time. Civil war, anything could
That's
pop
what
off. So everyone thinks, oh, those guys are bowling over there. Let me go over there. But then, they got problems that they don't necessarily tell you. So that's my only thing. I mean, we have rights in this. I'm not saying America's perfect by no means. And as an ADOS
Mhm.
African American, I can tell you it's not. But certainly, I don't think I would choose anybody else to live. I don't. I know people are leaving the country and moving to Ghana and all that kind of stuff. I think I'm gonna chill
I
here,
get the
and I'm gonna make the most of what I do here. So I just think that in terms of the going the distance, just to get back on the topic of the
I
show,
was I was
I think certainly.
I would say that
Good.
I agree with you saying. My thing, I wouldn't plan to go there for an easy life. I'm a workaholic. I rather go to a place whereby my hard work it really means something. Where I know it's not gonna be easy, but I'm used to it, I'm accustomed to it. At least I know it's going to the right direction. That's what I was looking at that way. There's nothing easy in Africa that I'm aware of. But at least let me be able to be a part of somewhere where I can put in the hard work and enjoy what I'm doing and not feel like I'm doing hard work here and I'm feeling like I'm being robbed behind my back or in front of my face and there's not much I can do about it. I'm not a stranger to hard work. I don't mind doing it. But I don't want to be in an environment whereby you work hard for so long and you feel like you had to work 10 times harder and it become
But
redundant.
that's kind of part of the life we're in right now, David. Like everybody's that. Me and Mariana, we just had this conversation 2, 3 days ago. Everybody's struggling right now. I don't care if you're a six figure or zero figure. It's some shape or way from you're struggling financially right now. Unfortunately, the economy people saying is doing great. I don't think so personally. But before we move on,
Mm.
let's get Wally in here. He's just in quietly. Wally, I'm sorry, dude. What's going on, man?
Lord have mercy.
You know I had to do it to you, right?
Literally, no.
Want me to do it again? One more time.
Oh, that was you. I thought that was Wally. You did
Hell
that
no.
sounds like.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
No,
good that
I
you
thought that
feel
was.
it, Peter.
I thought Wally had a sound machine.
Had a sound machine, trust me, I'd have done myself way more better than that.
We all should have known it was Pete. Who else?
Hmm.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
At least it gets our first one. All right, Wally. What you gotta say on this, bro? You've been listening to quiet for a while. I'm pretty sure you've been listening longer than anybody right now.
Not really. I mean, I haven't really know what's the question so far.
The original question is, what does it mean for you to go the distance for you personally?
What does it mean to go the distance? Interesting. How could I define that in my current condition? Well,
That's what you can.
hold on. Let me say it. Let me get on. Hold on. So, if I had to say, what does it mean to go the distance? For me, for me, based upon the question, I'll say it like this: understanding when it comes to dealing with certain people and handling certain things, keep pressing forward. As simple as I can put it. Keep pressing forward. Right now, what I have to handle and who I have to handle it for, just keep pressing it forward. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much of the thank yous you hear. It don't matter about nothing else. Keep pressing forward and just hope for something around the corner just pops up and it just gets you out of the situation. Because personally, that's really what I'm doing right now. I'm just buying time, just sitting here saying, let me not go into the deep end and crash out and say, well, there it is. Because honestly, that's really what I'm going to hear at the end of the day. Because I say it like this: as much as I do, other people may see it and say, "Oh, you're such a good brother or good son or whatever it is," blase, blase. And I say this in my head, I'm like, if only you know, I don't get two flying fucks. I just don't. Literally, I don't do this for charity. I don't do this out of love. I do this because I rather make sure one person don't do it just because of who this person is. You look at this person and say they're in a bad condition. I look at this person and say this person got what they deserve. The only thing is I'm just making sure that they don't waste the time of someone else's livelihood because of their fuck ups. That's how I look at that. That's how I look at that question. I'm gonna leave it there.
All right. We'll swing back to the original question. Values. Was it ever a question for you? Was it ever doubtful, or did you create values with a decision you had to make in life? Alicia, you're up. David already went.
Yes, of course, I questioned my values. I questioned so much over the past year and a half. I guess I just remind myself, like Paul and David were saying, people have it much worse, you know? I have to remember, even though I'm battling cancer every day, I'm battling cancer with lots of support. I'm battling cancer with not worrying about food. I'm battling cancer with having a home, a beautiful home I live in. I'm battling cancer with not worrying about how I'm going to get to and from appointments or how I'm going to go from here or there. And even though I do have considered myself like, why me? My values are just like all over the place. But they also have gotten me to the point where the values I have right now are definitely changed from what they were a year and a half ago. Like, it's all about spending time, family, friends. My job is there, but still that could come and go. It's being around my loved ones that I really, really value now compared to before.
Thank you, Alicia. Mariana, you're up.
Question my uh this is a tough one. I would say like the thing is you could be like am I valuable, I'm like questioning, am I valuable to, I'd probably be valuable more to my family. Um but I also don't like to be take it for granted, like what just happened recently. That I had to cut off my sister, unfortunately, because it got to the point stop is to stop. but sometimes I question my, is my work, my, like, is it, I don't know, it's almost like you want to be, you want to be valuable, but you also want to make sure that you just have to keep going, but also in a way that you don't need to, you can't always satisfy everybody. You have to take it upon yourself. Okay, today is a good day. This is going to be a brand new day. I'm going to take it one day at a time, and so be it. That's the way I look valuable because only the only only God see me that I'm valuable. God gave me a purpose. I'm not going to say any individual, but only God Himself. That I get, I'm here to exist. I'm here for, just, I know that God has plans for me because I don't know what it is. Only God has a hand on it. Um, that's that's what the value. I mean, you can't question everything, but I know that I have to know that there's a reason for everything. Um, but other than that, that's that's all I could give on my input.
Oh, you're up.
Okay, so the question is, have I ever lost uh, what
Lost
specifically again? My
values,
values?
gain values, or question your values.
Always gain value. Always. I said it was tough. Like I said, when I was younger, like I said, when my dad and when my brother, when they would basically say I wasn't ish, like they would say it like that was almost like a daily thing. Uh, certainly, certainly again, it didn't do a whole lot to help my self image. Certainly back in the day, but certainly as an adult and as I've just constantly just lived life, like I said, I've never questioned, like I said, decisions that I made or whatever. Were they always the right decisions? No. Were they made with the best of intentions? Yes. And so, but again, I think a lot of that is based on the values that I've learned over time. Like I said, my faith has taught me so much, and I've gained so
Hmm.
much. And so it's just the constant process of addition. So I think my values just get strengthened. Like I said, this week, I keep going back to I've dealt with a lot of estrogen this week. I can't tell you how much but it just but the more I think about it, it's the resolve that gosh, if I wasn't here, it would be chaos. You know what I mean? I am the thermostat in my household. I really try to, I listen. I give perspective. I temper things down, tone things down when they need to be toned down. I'll pull my wife back when I say, baby, you're doing too much. Pull it back. So I think over time, I've just gotten stronger. And again, I just finished my workout, so you guys have been watching and seeing. Pretty wife, so it's a little hard to talk now. But like I said, life is a workout, and the more you do it, the stronger you get at it. And so for me, my values have strengthened my resolve, and like you know what, not only am I doing the right things, but it's like that validation that you did the right thing. Again, it may not show up in the moment while you're doing it. It's uncomfortable while you're doing it. But you look down the road and you see where other people are. And then you start to realize that, hey, you know what? Good call. You made the right call then. And again, you plant now, but you reap later. And so, absolutely, strengthened. My faith has gotten stronger, my resolve, and just even looking at people in just different areas of who are smarter than me and talk about certain things. Um, it's just that I just think I'm in a better place. And so yeah, it's definitely. But that's the problem is for a lot of people. Are you willing to go through it? And wait to see what comes out on the other
Hmm.
side. Um, praying for people who curse you. You know, that's some real stuff. I mean, it's like, when I got to pray for somebody who I don't like, um, but I understand, and sometimes what you understand later on, that a lot of times it's not necessarily them, it's the circumstances that they grew up in. It's like, what they sometimes say, they say hurt people hurt people. And a lot of times you see that a lot of people are hurting people because they're hurt themselves. And so again, when you have that kind of empathy, it gives you a certain compassion that you just can't hate for so long, or a lot of stuff you just got to let go of over some time, because you realize over time that, wow, what that person was really dealing with, or what they had to struggle with, you know I didn't, as much as I went through, I didn't go through that. And so you start to look at them a little bit differently, and you don't be so harsh with them, and whatnot. But then you praise yourself because you went through some things, but you came out better on the other side. So like I said, it's almost like in an auto race, like a NASCAR or Indy race or whatever. You start in the 11th row, and you just, over the course of the race, you just work yourself up through the crashes and the weaving cars and traffic and everything, and you find yourself getting into that, near that pole, near position. It's not to say that I've won yet. I'm still in the race, so I'm still trying to get to whatever that position is. But I'm certainly not in the 11th row anymore. I'm certainly not car 33 anymore. I've just been moving through the race the whole time. So gaining always, again, when you're doing the right things and you're doing it with the right motives and you're doing it with the right intentions and you focus on the right things, to me, it's always added to my life and continues to add over time.
Thank you, Paul. Wally, you're up.
All right. So what is the question again?
Values. During your journey, did you lose values, gain values, or you question your values?
Okay. So during my journey, have I lose, gain, or anything else in between? So I'll say it like this, right? When it comes to my values, there are certain things I say I gain based upon other people's perspectives, and there's certain things I just choose to stand on. But usually, for most cases, I like to say my values are, how do I look at it overall? So I like to look at it as nothing is proven, but it's morally clarified. What do I mean by that? What I say is there's certain things that that might be said at one moment, and you'd be like, you don't pay no mind to it. You don't even take that to fruit. But as time goes on and you think back to it a little bit, that becomes clarified enough for you. It becomes a little bit more clarified where you start to see it a little bit more, and it's like, okay, I understand where you're getting at. And because certain things hasn't transpired for you to really understand it. So for me, it's like my values, it do tend to change for the simple fact of usually anything that I would say that I hear that I didn't thought of before and never thought to consider, I would usually take it for the only simple fact of I know that would fit my life right now where I'm at. Others I just understand and understand the perspectives of, probably wouldn't take it, but I would understand it from another person's viewpoint. And then there's just certain values that I just keep altogether, because personally that's just what I already preset it for myself, just as I constantly keep growing down the stretch. Because there's a lot of things in this life I already questioned every which way as I was living. And there were just certain things I was just looking for when it came to start answering questions. Eventually, those become to be answered down the stretch. And definitely, I look at it way more different, because now where I'm at right now, from where I was before, a lot of that I had once upon a time, it's just pretty much gone. And luckily enough, I see why. Because a lot of things played out the way it needs to. Literally. Now, I cannot mistakenly not remember the same moment where I was asking a particular question in my life, only to find out the particular question the moment I saw a certain person in a certain location. The one moment that happened, I got the answer I was looking for my whole life, and then it's like I just let that go. It was done deal. I got the clarification I ever needed. So I always say this: keep an open mind, keep an open ideal, and there's always room for better, more ideal values in the makings. Because again, as you keep on going, there's always more around the room. So.
All right, guys, let's get in our final thoughts. I know Mariana needs to jump out of the ship, so I'll let you go first, Mariana, really fast.
Um, you want me to give my input?
Yeah, your final thoughts. What are your
My
final?
final thoughts. This is I am I am happy to be on this chat. This is an interesting conversation, and hopefully I will come for whatever subject appears on. But thank you for having me here, and that's all I can say. I mean, this is a good topic. I would say to go from a distance. So.
All right, thanks, Mariana. All right, David, you want to go next?
Go the distance. I don't know if you want to call it going the distance anymore because a lot of us are only breaking our distance or breaking our limit. It's more so like, are we aware in how far we are going with it? Because when you look at life and what they give you can find yourself doing things when I know you don't want to do it. You may feel like you're comparing yourself with your peers and those around you, and you feel like the hand that you were given to you with a bad hand. I sometimes, or most time, I believe it's meant to happen for a reason to test you to see how far you can go, how far you can overcome things. Because in life, I don't believe life could be easy because for someone like me who's addicted to hard work, I don't mind working hard to accomplish something. But I don't enjoy working hard to feel like I'm going to constantly be robbed or be ridiculed or disrespect or it won't go nowhere in life. That way it gets very, very frustrating. Hard work always leads to something positive, one way or the other. But the idea of saying you're gonna be working hard and you gain nothing in return, I'm not asking for an accolade, but something that makes you feel like you accomplished something. That you're hitting a level, so there's another level, there's a couple more levels to overcome. That's not how I look at it. This is why I think some of us who have that mindset don't mind going to another place and work hard. At least it know it produce something. Like a farmer. Which farmer think you want to continue to plow the land and try to sow the seed and get no harvest, and he keep doing the same thing, no harvest comes in return? That man will be like, what the hell? So I believe this is a very not only a good conversation. This is something that everyone should do with themselves. Either when you hit your 20s, or you hit your 30, your 40, your 50, ask yourself this question every 5 years, every 10 years. Where you at? Where you going? What's the mission? What's left to be done? I think that will keep you in check and keep you focused, keep you on top of your game. That's just me. That's my final thought.
Okay, so I would say one thing which again, this is a great topic and it really hits home for me, and I'm sure for many others, as far as going the distance, especially when you are going through something in life. But my main thoughts would be, again, to keep going. Everybody out there is fighting something that we may know nothing about. And for those people also to keep going, look at the good things in life, be grateful for what you have. And every morning I wake up and the thing that keeps me going is I look for something small, even if it's the smallest thing that I'm grateful for and that I look forward to in that day. I take one day at a time. And again, each day There may be struggles, there may not be, but one thing I also do is I always try to look in the front mirror. People try sometimes to bring me to the rear view mirror and like go back in the past, and they'll say, "Oh, don't you ever wish you didn't have cancer? Or don't you ever wish you didn't have to go through this?" And that's one thing where I stop people. I refuse to look in the rear view mirror. It is what it is. God has me, and that's where I believe He knows more than I do. But again, keep going forward, one day at a time, and always look for that positive in life each day.
Well, first of all, yes, I'm on the floor. I'm doing some post-workout stretches at this point before I go upstairs. But this has been a great show. First of all, it's great because these two ladies have, certainly stepped out of their comfort zone a little bit and certainly, cammed up and became a part of the conversation. So certainly looking forward to seeing more of you, certainly in the flesh, and see how you can add certainly to this space and add certainly to this channel. So certainly it was a pleasure seeing the both of you, and actually just seeing you guys for the first time. So it's really a treat to be on tonight with you guys. So yeah. So as far as going the distance, as I just said earlier, life is a workout, and like I said, I'm on the floor. Don't feel very good. And the thing is, I'm not going to feel very good tomorrow, but I will feel good later because I keep consistent. I seldom take time off, and I'm always making time to do, to do the things sometimes that I don't want to do, so I get benefits later on. So just always striving to do better and just do the right things always. And um, just if I was to just kind of give a scriptural, uh, you know, meaning sort of all this, just read the last chapter of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. The longer I'm living, at the end of the day, those are the things that matter. And I won't just give away what that is. Just read Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. And I just try to do and be better at that. And and it's been just been a blessing to my life. All the struggles and all the things that I've had to overcome and continue to struggle with and overcome. Um, you know, Certainly it's easier when I have the right that perspective that I get out of Ecclesiastes. So, again, but focus on the things that you want. Certainly those things that are important to you, and just keep doing those things no matter what. And you know, I'd say you will gain benefit if not in this life, then life to come. So, thanks for again having this conversation tonight, Pete. And I won't do too many of these again. I was just testing this mic piece out here. So next time I will be cammed up. I will be on my PC and doing all that kind of stuff or whatever. Except if I'm going to be doing specific shows that talk about workouts and training and exercise and things of that nature. But yeah, I think I had to get this in, and I figured, you know what, I'll just be a part of the conversation in a different way. But at the same time, like I said, life is a workout. So what we're talking about here, physical fitness, spiritual fitness, mental fitness, and all that.
Hey, Paul, you're covering the mic. Can
Okay.
you uncover the mic a little bit?
Uncover
Yeah,
the
you're
mic?
not doing. Yeah, yeah, it's
Is that
better.
good? Okay. Okay. So yeah, so like I said, life is a workout, and you just want to, just continue to push through, whether it be physical exercise, mental exercise, spiritual exercise. You just want to keep pushing through, and you will get a positive result. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Paul. Well, you're up, buddy.
All right, so for the closing statements, what can I honestly say for the closing statement for the go in the distance? I'll say it like this, right? If you had to think of going the distance like this, right? Let's say you start at point A, and eventually you had to reach to point B, right? Let's say point B maybe is 1-2 miles, give or take, right? And you ask a person, hey, would you rather A, jog or run to point A to point B, or walk there? Most people will tell you they will jog or run. They'll jog or run. Why? Because it's easy. But guess what? Nothing in life is easy. You can run all you want to. You don't make it easy. You don't gain no progress out of any of that. But you know what? If you walk, right, you sometimes tend to see things a little bit more clear. You give yourself some time. You evaluate some things as you constantly go. AKA, it's like the lesson of the tortoise and the hare, right? The hare will run and think that it achieved something because it just got there to the finish line. But the reality is the tortoise still kept on going, still pushing it up for it, right? And we all seen it how, in cartoons, they'll show it and like the hare will always win multiple times, or they did the whole race every single time. But guess what? Eventually the hare gets jacked up, but the tortoise, perfectly safe, got to his destination the same way. It's okay. Sometimes the tortoise will be dragging the hare to the finish line with it. That's how I look at life, let alone going the distance. Everyone has their ways of dealing with it. Everyone has their ways of reaching to the point that they feel decent about themselves. But notice one thing. Just because you push yourself one way doesn't mean that you're living off better. I've seen a lot. I always say it like this. I've seen a lot of people live it and have it fast. But you know what? They don't have it good. I say it like that. I'm going to say it like that. I'm done. Get me off the screen, sir. Muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you for everybody who coming in tonight. It was a pleasure. Glad to see new faces. Let's do a quick schedule of it and let's get the hell out of here. What are we? David, you want to go over your show tomorrow?
Tomorrow episode, me and Wale gonna be talking about a very dark anime, which somehow made it possible to do a lot of going in, but it is action packed. It have very unique storyline, and it will bring into a lot of deep discussion concerning the franchise, concerning the path that took, and wondering if they're gonna finish this franchise or not. So there's a lot of questions that people will be asking while we discussing this show. I just build up. Look forward for tomorrow.
All right, and where are we? I just lost it. Okay, and Paul, do you want to go over yours?
Yeah, certainly. Thursday on the Next Gen Training, we're going to be talking about the habits of happiness. So again, just talking about just different aspects of that, doing things that again make you at least in the temporary, because again, happiness is not the same as joy, but certainly for those who are going through it, certainly there's things you can be doing on a regular basis that can certainly give you a better perspective on life. So we're going to be talking about that Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, here on the Sparta HQ Network. Looking forward to it. Next Gen Training, myself, Coach Ferg. Looking forward to it. We'll see you guys then.
And on Saturday, guys, we're going to be going over, this is going to be a doozy. Ready for this, David? We're going to be talking about the worst video game movies.
Yeah, have fun with that one. Yeah, have fun with that.
Oh, you're coming to that too, Wally.
He says that as if that's going to be true.
It is true.
But if Wally do come, he's gonna lose it because there's a lot of things that will trigger him.
That's why I want him on there. It'd be kind of funny to see him lose it. And on Saturday, we're going to be talking about me and Paul will be talking about the gray area. Are you a bad parent if you put your career first? Sometimes. So except that,
That's the hard stick in the road.
they're going to be a juicy conversation. So except that, guys, as always, it was a Spartan Institute Network. I am the Spartan. He is Black David. She's Alicia. He is Wally. He is Mr. President. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.